Dems feel the burn as Sanders wins popular vote in Iowa, leads in New Hampshire as Democratic nomination could go socialist. Hello, this is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about the Iowa caucuses. Boy, what a mess. They're still counting votes over there, but with 71% reporting Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg are in the lead there. They're basically in a tie. It's 26.9% to 25.2%. But it turns out Sanders won the popular vote, 24% to 21%. Joe Biden, he's a distant fourth place. He only got 15%. Elizabeth Warren got 19%. And so this looks like it puts Sanders in actually a very commanding position. Believe it or not, he may be the front runner. He's leading in New Hampshire very solidly. He won New Hampshire in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. Looks like he's going to win it again. And so Joe Biden, he's going to go Iowa and New Hampshire without any victories, and that creates a very long odds now for him to have a path to the nomination. And the reason for that, because in the modern history of primaries since 1972, the candidate on the Democratic side who wins either Iowa or New Hampshire is usually the candidate in about 3/4 of the years when there was no incumbent Democrat running for president: 1976, 1984, 1988, 2000, 2004, 2008, and 2016. The nominee had won either Iowa or New Hampshire. There were two exceptions: Bill Clinton and George McGovern. They did it in 1992 and 1972, respectively, getting the nomination without ever having won Iowa or New Hampshire. But they are the exceptions to the rule. The rule seems to be that you have to show very well in these first two contests, or you don't have a shot at the nomination. In the modern history, on the Republican side, no nominee has ever won or there's never been a nominee since 1972 that didn't win either Iowa or New Hampshire. On the Democratic side, there's two exceptions. Still, the advantage shifts to Sanders unless Biden's going to stage a comeback in South Carolina. It might mean that Sanders is going to be the nominee. And the appeal of Sanders is that he stands a chance of winning back the union households that in part helped put President Trump over the top in Rust Belt states like Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania on the strength of his anti-NAFTA, America First on trade approach. But unlike in 2016, when it was thought Sanders and Trump kind of shared views on trade, in 2020, it was Sanders who voted against the USMCA, the US-Mexico-Canada agreement. If Sanders had had his way, and here you can see he voted no, it was at 89-10. It was overwhelming bipartisan support for ending NAFTA, putting America First on trade, including currency provisions, getting more agriculture sold to Canada, particularly dairy products. There's a lot of intellectual property protections, and with the currency provisions, that was used as a gold standard in negotiating currency provisions in the U.S.-China trade agreement, and that's been achieved now too. And so Bernie Sanders, if he had had his way, we would still be in NAFTA. Now we're not in NAFTA anymore, and you can thank President Trump. No thanks goes to Bernie Sanders, though. Sanders' other policies, however, like the Green New Deal, they clearly put American working class people in the crosshairs. If you work in manufacturing, if you work in energy, if you work in transportation delivery or something like that, if you're a blue-collar worker, essentially, Bernie Sanders has it in for you. Not only does he not stand with you on trade, but with his other policies like the Green New Deal, industrial production would be dramatically curtailed, not just here, but globally, costing millions or maybe tens of millions of blue-collar jobs and wrecking the economy. In contrast, I think Venezuela will be highlighted as a failed socialist state, saying, oh, you want to do socialism under Bernie? Well, maybe you should look at Venezuela first. This makes a really easy talking point for President Trump. Although I would say that Sanders' age is deceptive. He actually represents a new generation of Democrats that are more radical, more socialist, who seek to supplant the old order, this old Democratic establishment. They're on the way out, and Bernie Sanders, he heralds their demise, their coming demise. But unlike the early 1900s, where socialism and communism kind of thrived in areas where there was a weak economy following World War I, In comparison, the Trump economy is doing so well. You have a 50-year low in unemployment, more Americans working than ever and providing for themselves. I call it a blue-collar renaissance. The president calls it a blue-collar boom in his State of the Union address. But Sanders' socialism, it kind of appears out of place, but I think it puts issues like the Green New Deal, universal basic income, and socialized medicine on the front burner in the Democratic nomination. And I don't think it's a recipe for a majority, at least right now in 2020, with the economy doing so well. In any event, with things like universal income, in 2020, it becomes a choice between work on one hand, under Trump with the lowest peacetime unemployment in modern history, and welfare on the other. Bernie wants you to, I guess, live off the government. Trump saying, no, you can work for yourself and I can prove it. We have the lowest unemployment ever. Today, the U.S. economy arguably has never been better. And I'll leave you with the close here. Making radical transformation a hard sell to working Americans who are looking to make a safe bet in 2020. And I don't think Sanders is it. Sanders will be also hard-pressed to win over those independents and Democrats who voted for Trump in 2016. He kept all his promises. He ended NAFTA. He got tough on trade. He did the tariffs against China. He got China to agree to a trade agreement where the tariffs are still in place on China. I mean, that's putting America first, and Trump is dealing hard. He's using the art of the deal. He's using American leverage in global trade to get better deals. He got his tax cuts done. He got his deregulation done. And now the economy's booming and more people are working than ever. Meaning in November, it could be Democrats who end up feeling the burn as President Trump is easily reelected. Stay tuned. That's the commentary. This is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government. DailyTorch.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and have a good day.